Welcome to another podcast of the current situation at Manchester United. Manchester United will be hosted by Brighton tomorrow. This is going to be our second to last game in the Premier League season. Yeah, it's been a contentious ride. Let us just say that, amongst other words to describe our season. But that season is going to be drawn to a close after the game against Crystal Palace next week. But let's deal with the current affairs of Manchester United. We have a game against Brighton, as I mentioned, and I was just listening to Ralph's press conference as relates to players that will be engaged in tomorrow's fixture. Harry Maguire is back in training. You can take that with a pinch of salt, whether that's a positive thing or a negative thing. As it relates to Rashford has bronchitis due to high temperature, as mentioned by Ralf Rangnick. Who else? Oh, he was also asked about Jesse Lingard, and his brother was saying, "Oh, it's classless to leave out a homegrown player of Manchester United like Jesse Lingard. You cannot leave out a Manchester United lad like Jesse Lingard from the last home game. That's classless." And I just like Ralph Ragnick's approach to. I don't listen to his press conferences on a regular basis, but this press conference, man, and I've seen a few excerpts of different press conferences he's done, but the man's aura when he's answering these questions it's very admirable, is me. Of course, some persons may take may take a different route to it, but Ralph Rangnick was like, well, in so many words, he was like, he can't make everybody happy. He said he had a choice between Cavani or Jess Lingard and a young youth that was on the bench. I don't remember his name, but I know his name as time progresses, right? But he was saying he had a choice between these three players. So his go-to was to pick Edison Cavani, Tarzan, right? And he was like saying, well, if I pick Jesse Lingard, person are gonna say, why didn't you pick Edison Cavani? Cavani hasn't played for a long bit. Cavani has been, in sick bay. Cavani has been with the patients. So you can make everybody happy, and that's another thing with a lot of fans, because a lot of football fans, as you know it in the modern age of football, is very spoilt, and they feel entitled to certain decisions because they believe that they're the fans. They believe that certain decisions should go their way. Or if they're related to one of the players, they believe that a decision should go their way. That's not the aim of football. That's not the aim of football. Football, you can't make everybody happy, man. Like, some persons just go get left out. That's just the aim of the game. Um, a few other stuff. Oh, I want to touch base with. This is not going to be a verbal eulogy, but I want to touch base with remembering Ralf Ragnick as Manchester United's interim manager for 6 months. As you guys know, his execution date is coming slowly and further and closer. I'm going to be doing that before I get into the preview of Ralf Rangnick, remembering Ralph. Speaking of remembering, I know this is a digression, but if you guys know about Kevin Samuels on YouTube or in social media, if you're a black person, you know Kevin Samuels, you should know what Kevin Samuels is about. You should know what his MO is like as relates to dealing with addressing black women and broke black men. I don't listen to Kevin Samuels that much, but Birds of a Feather came to me last night and told me that he's dead. I wasn't expecting Kevin Samuels. Now again, it's not officially confirmed that he's dead. I don't know if he's officially dead. He could be, based on comments I tweeted, "Is Kevin Samuels dead? Is Kevin Samuels dead?" Then someone said, "Yes, yeah," like someone say, "Yeah, he's dead." I'm like, man, ain't that something? Life just come to you real fast, man. Again, I'm not a follower of Kevin Samuels, but I know where Kevin Samuels has come from before he even blew up in 2020 and 2021. From fall of 2017, he came I'm a part of the manosphere. Like I listen to certain videos, I read tweets and comments and information relating to the manosphere. And he was a part of that. You know, he came on the scene as some franchise, dealing with you know, like spray, perfume, etc. But anyway, to find out that he's quote unquote dead, that's surprising, man. That's surprising. No, of course, some person will like him, and that's expected. But just say that he's dead, bro. That's quite a stretch for me. But anyway, let us get back to the matters of Manchester United, right? Now, in the latest Manchester United news, Ralf Rangnick was also asked if Harry Maguire will be starting tomorrow. And as you would expect, he's tactful. See, Ralf Rangnick is not only tactful in his footballing approach, but he's also tactful in his press conference approach. Like he knows how to answer questions. He's gamed up. Let's say he's gamed up. He knows how to address the press. He knows how to answer questions in the press. He's not a loose cannon when it comes down to answering questions and leaking out information that could see to the benefit of the opposition. Is me. So he's gamed up. He's not going to run his mouth like that. But in relation to Manchester United's latest news, let me see. Okay, let me just speak on Ralf Rangnick before I go into the the preview of the game against Brighton tomorrow. Okay, Ralf Rangnick at Manchester United. Now, of course, in November, as most of you guys should know, in November of 2021 last year, it took a while. It should have been done earlier, but Manchester United got the cojones to sack Manchester United's struggling manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in last November of 2021. There was a lot of rumors of who is going to take over Manchester United. Know that, as some person may say, this big pus is removed from Manchester United. Who's going to come to the reign of Manchester United? Who's going to bring Manchester United success? Because see, not to get lengthy on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but some persons were bought on the thought that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the right man. The right man for Manchester United in 2019 when he came on the scene. And my thing is this, man. He gave Manchester United the fans the misleading impression that he knew what he was doing. Is me. The thing was that Ole came in to give Manchester United, the environment of Manchester United, a breath of fresh air because of the toxicity that they succumbed to with Jose Mourinho in previous months. So when Mourinho was removed, Manchester United's players needed a breath of fresh air. They needed positivity. And that is where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. And he did well for a couple months. Did well with PSG in the Champions League. We knocked them out with a penalty from Marcus Rashford. Yeah, so Manchester United decided to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a 3-year contract. But anyway, this is about Ralf Rangnick and why Manchester United sought out to get him after sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. We needed experience. We needed a kick up in the ass. Manchester United hasn't got that since Mourinho, which is quite a bit now. That's over 3 years ago. Yeah, that's about over 3 years ago. Mourinho was sacked in December 2018. And yeah, so Manchester United was kicking it, was being chummy with each other under the reign of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was no, I wouldn't say there wasn't no admonishment, but there was no kick up the ass. There was no straightening up under the reign of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because his MO was all about being liberal, doing what you want. There was no discipline behind it. And this is why Ralf Rangnick was called into the squad of Manchester United, because there were brats in the squad. There were entitled players in the squad. There were players that were lazy. Players needed a back kick in the behind. They wanted admonishment, they wanted admonishing, they wanted reproof, they wanted correction. And that is why Ralf Rangnick was called to the squad. That's why he was appointed for 6 months. And look at the difference now. Look at the difference. When Ralf Rangnick came into Manchester United, you notice that some players wanted to leave. There were rumors that some players wanted to leave. There were some players that got up in arms with their emotions. You know, it's when they got into their panties about it because they didn't like the approach that Ralf Rangnick was taking. And this was about 2 weeks after he was appointed. I ain't gonna say the players' names, but some of you guys know players that are pro Ole. I'm gonna just name a few. Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is a big one. Luke Shaw, see, discipline was lacking under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was no form of discipline under the reign of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is me. He was all about all smiles and all giggles. But with this 1975 manager from Germany, Ralf Rangnick, he came into the squad and straightened things out. Much to the chagrin of some players wanting to leave. Much of the chagrin of some players that say, screw Manchester United, up yours, I want to go to a club where I can kick it casually and not put in no work in. And that's what Ralf Rangnick has done to the squad. Some players got up in arms about that. And goes, some persons say, well, Marcel, knowing that Germany is about press and excessive energy being exhibited to get the ball, I don't think Marcel is going to thrive under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Players like Bruno Fernandes are going to thrive under, not only Gunnar Solskjaer, under Ralf Rangnick. Man, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on me today. Yeah, I don't think Marcel is going to, thrive under this Ralf Rangnick manager. I don't even know who is this Ralf Rangnick manager. Ralf Rangnick is the same manager that managed Schalke in 2010-2011 and led Schalke to the 2010-2011 Champions League semi-finals. And Manchester United, under Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, knocked out Ralf Rangnick's Schalke in 2010-2011. So this guy has a decent degree of credibility and notoriety. He's not a new youth. He's not a late bloomer that just got into the boots of management. He's been on the scene for quite a bit. So when Ralf Rangnick came into the Manchester United dressing room, things needed to straighten out, and he knew that. He knew how the players were. He knew the Prats. He knew the Sprats. He knew the entitled players. He knew the crybabies in our squad. He knew the players that needed a kick up in the ass. He knew the players that needed a straighten out. And voila. Oh, another thing. If you notice on the pitch, it didn't take like 3 weeks to see a difference on the pitch. It didn't. Manchester United under Ralf Rangnick exerted more energy. They were more pressing. One of the things that us Man United fans were not a fan of is me, because I'm heterosexual now, was the formation Ralf Rangnick was using in his initial earlier weeks at Manchester United. Was this flat 4-2-2 formation. You have the four, you have the goalkeeper right here, so of course. You have the four defenders. You have two deep midfielders, that's the double pivot. You have two other wide midfielders, and you have the two strikers up here, so. So you have the two strikers up here, so the two wide midfielders, you have the two double pivot, and then you have the back four. Manchester United wasn't feeling that. Definitely the shape of the formation. Again, I'm heterosexual and I don't get down like that. It may look like an erected penis formation. And some players were not effective in that formation. Mason Green was playing as a right mid, a wide right mid. Mason Green was not a right mid. He doesn't have the legs to be doing that. It's best if you play Mason Greenwood, as I was saying at the time, as a right striker, and Elanga or Cristiano Ronaldo as a left striker. But see, of course, person were saying, and even I noticed that Mason Greenwood and Ronaldo wasn't having the best of relationships when it came on to the attacking force, because both of them have their differences. Particularly, as some may say, from the end of Mason Greenwood. Because Mason Greenwood was taking his long, audacious shots from unnecessary range, which infuriated and irritated Cristiano Ronaldo. Motherfucker, as I told you guys before, it's funny how football is all about deja vu in some aspects of it. When CR7 was young at Manchester United in 2003 2004, Van Nistelrooy had the same frustration that CR7 is suffering right now when Mason Greenwood was playing. As you guys know, CR7 at a young, like CR7 was always confident and quote unquote, full of himself, arrogant and all that. But at a young age, he was taking shots from impossible angle, which frustrated Ruud van Nistelrooy. 18 to 20 years later, now CR7 is suffering the same thing with Mason Greenwood. It's just funny how football just unfolds itself in years to come or years later. Just shows you that. But yeah. So yeah, with this formation of Ralf Rangnick saw that the players were not going to be effective or efficient with this formation. So he big ups to him, he actually changed it. He wasn't stubborn about his approach. He changed it and became more adaptable. Adaptable with the players, adaptable with the formation, adaptable with the style of no Manchester United was pressing. I think we did the most press for a good amount of years under Ralf Rangnick. Is me and hold on. And yeah, we've seen improvements. Fred has improved his game. Man, Fred. Dude. See, Fred is one of those players that you may misjudge him because he's played out of position or the system doesn't suit him. But if he's played in the right position and he's played in a proper style of play, you're going to see the best version or a better version of Fred. Fred under Ralf Rangnick has been a revelation. He's been rejuvenated, he's been revived, and I think that's the best of Fred we've seen at Manchester United. As relates to other players, Rashford has digressed. Disaster, like Rashford has really digressed. He's not. Rashford was you can tell that Rashford is not a big wasn't on Ralf Rangnick's favorite list. He doesn't suit that system. Because when Rashford is playing in that system, I can't explain it as though I know it, but when Rashford, like it's like when Ralph is playing Rashford, he's like a right mid. Or I can't explain, man. But it's like when Rashford is playing on the right, everybody knows that Rashford is pace personified. He's direct in his approach when he's attacking. And pace is going to be his biggest attribute. So when he's going forward with the ball, Rashford, he's going to have... Ralph thought that he's better on the right. But when Ralph saw this, he was like, okay, this brethren, I know he's a Manchester United lad. I know he's got over 80 goals for Manchester United, but this brethren is not cutting the cake for me. I have to go bench him. I cannot be starting Rashford. I can't be starting this number 10 youth for Manchester United. He's poor, man. He's poor. So not every player benefited under Ralph. Luke Shaw is not in the favourites of Ralph, and vice versa. And vice versa. Luke Shaw don't rate Ralph, and Ralph don't rate Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw is the epitome, the embodiment of a spoiled brat, a player that is lazy and doesn't want to put the work in, because he's used to the style of play and the environment that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had at Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't direct with Luke Shaw about the fact that he was slightly overweight or needed to do more. No, to Luke Shaw's to the defense of Luke Shaw, he actually did well last season. Yep, he did well last season, or good. Good would be a better approach in some eyes. But yeah, he did well. In my opinion, he did well last season. He was one of the best left backs in the league. Some person believe that he was the best left back in the league, period, last season. But with Ralf Rangnick, things were different. It's like my man didn't want to put the work in. He didn't want to pull up his socks and pants and work. So Ralf Rangnick used Alex Tears instead as his main starting left back. As his main starting left back. But anyway, what are we going to, as I wrap up this verbal eulogy of Ralf Rangnick, what are we going to remember Ralf Rangnick for in his 6-month tenure at Manchester United? If there is one word that stands out in most Manchester United fans' eyes, as not all fans are one accord with Ralf Rangnick and his approach. Some persons don't like Ralf Rangnick. Some persons didn't like the appointment of Ralf Rangnick. But if there is one thing that you haters or you doubters of Ralf Rangnick cannot excuse, is the fact that my man is very honest, and he's just honest. He's honest with it. You see me? I would even say he's brutally honest when he's doing his press conference, his post match reaction, why he left out certain players, why he played certain players, why he played a certain way against certain opponents, his feelings towards the game, why we lost, how we lost. My man just lays it on the table with no shame in his game. You see me? And he's honest about that. That is one thing we cannot hate about the dude, is the fact that he's honest with the squad, the quality of the squad. Because he was straight up with that. He was a straight up G with that. He admonished certain players in the press. Well, he didn't name players, but we fans, we knew who he was talking about. He basically said that the squad needs working on. There needs to be a construction site in the training complex. There needs to be work, like proper construction work on the squad. He said the squads need, basically, of course, it's not the exact words he's using, but he was basically saying that this squad needs a refurbishing. This side needs pruning. This side needs work on it. That's what he was basically saying in some of his press conferences. Some persons dislike him for that. I don't dislike him for nothing. This Regin was straight up with the fact that this squad needs work. And this is not the first manager that is straight up with Manchester United. Mourinho was straight up. Van Gaal was straight up. But what we admire about Ralf Rangnick more than Mourinho, according to some, because I still rated Mourinho when he was at Manchester United, and even above Van Gaal, what fans rate about Ralf Rangnick even more than Van Gaal and Mourinho was the fact that he didn't come with this theatrical, abrasive honesty. He was like, yeah, some players are not good in the squad, and I have to leave them on the bench. I'm going to be starting certain players in the game. We're going to have a different approach, and yeah, that's going to be my approach. That's what he was basically saying. He didn't say, oh yes, some players, they need to be working harder, and this is. He wasn't like that. My man was just cool, calm, collected. Again, like I said, he's gamed up. He knows how to approach the press. He knows how to address the press. So if there is one word or one thing that you remember, if you have a low IQ and there's one thing you can remember about Ralf Rangnick, is the fact that he's very honest with the players. He's very honest with the squad, the quality of the squad, the environment of the squad, and the dressing room, what needs to be worked on, the players that quote unquote needs to leave, what needs to be improved upon. Ralf Rangnick laid it on the table like cards in a hand. He laid it on the table. You see me? And yeah, man, I wish I could get deep into it, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on Ralf Rangnick. Remembering Ralf Rangnick at Manchester United. Of course, he's not going to get a big sending off because we didn't win the league or anything. But if there is something that we're going to remember about Ragnick, with the brief time he's been at Manchester United, is that he's been honest. Was it the best football we've played since post Alex Ferguson? At sometimes, yes. At sometimes, yes, we've played some of the best football we've had since post Alex Ferguson and Ralf Rangnick. Was it the best approach in terms of dealing with players post Alex Ferguson? Yes, in some cases, yes, 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 yes. Some person need a back teeth in their teeth, man. Was it the best approach when it came on to home games versus away games? In some cases, yes or no. In some cases, yes or no. Leave your comments down below on what you think about Ralf Rangnick's tenure at Manchester United. It could be a word, it could be a sentence or a phrase. Leave your comments down below in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have to say about Ralf Rangnick. Yeah, man, he's going to be missed. Yeah, he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. Let us go into the preview now of Brighton versus Manchester United. As you guys know, Manchester United is at least 6th or 7th in the league right now as we speak. We need points to try cement our position in the top 6 at least. At least. Brighton has been on smoke this season. They've won against some big clubs in the league. They have gotten points against Chelsea this season. I believe they gotten points of City this season. And Tottenham. Isn't me? So Brighton has been at ease, and they got points off Arsenal as well. Have we won them at home? I think yes. We won against them at home with a good individual goal by CR7 and Bruno Fernandes with a goal. But yeah, we're going to be playing away from home on the turf of Brighton. So it's not like we're going to be playing at home against Brighton. We did that earlier this year against Brighton. Is me, but tomorrow is going to be quite a testy game. Brighton is going to press, and Brighton is going to try impose their will on the game. No, again, Brighton is not Barcelona 2011. Brighton is not a Bayern Munich in 2013. This is Brighton that after a couple years ago came from the Championship. So this is not a big team. But the fact that they play a good regime of and routine of football, they have they know how to get under the skin of top opponents. So Manchester United has to look out for that. And our approach, I believe Ralf Rangnick is going to stick with the 4-2-3-1. I think it's a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I'm not sure. But Ralf Rangnick, he's going to be aware of how Potter plays his Brighton football with the Brighton players. Brighton has good players. They have Welbeck, they have Marpe, they have this Belgium youth. I think his name it starts with T. I can't remember right now. They have Bakuna, they have decent players. They have decent players, and Manchester United has to be on the lookout for that. As relates to the prediction, of course, it's almost the 30th minute. I have to finish up right now. Leave your predictions below in the comment section. It could be as big as 5-0, 10-0. Leave your predictions below. And also, if you've been watching up until this point, like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down below. My prediction: CR7 is 2 goals shy of getting his 20th league goal this season. Is he going to get a goal against Brighton? I'm no fortune teller, but I think if he play the right way, they're going to try stifle CR7. We know that. They're going to try stifle. CR7. Of course, he's not explosive as back in the day CR7. So he's going to be very heavily reliant on the players around him. Is me. He's not a 2011 CR7. He's not a 2007 CR7. So he's going to need that support from the players. And the players haven't been giving him much ball this season. And with the scraps that he's been given, he's netted over 20 goals in our competition, which is a staggering achievement. But my prediction is 2-1 win to Manchester United tomorrow. 2-1 win. I ain't gonna say who's gonna score the goals, but it's a 2-1 win. 2-1 win. We may not play the best football, but it's a 2-1 win in my book. Leave your predictions below, man. And like and subscribe to the channel. Share the channel. And I'll show it to you guys in the next video podcast. I don't believe I'll be doing a match reaction, but if I do, stick out for that. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace, deuce.